Hey guys, this is Josh or Cryptys, and I'm going to go over one of my TvZ replays just in case anyone might learn something about the TvZ matchup from Terran perspective or possibly Zerg as well. So I thought this was a pretty good game and I hope you guys enjoy it. I haven't done this a whole lot, so essentially I'm just going to look at my own replay and try to point out anything I notice as I watch the replay. Maybe this will help some of you. What am I doing here? Maybe this will help some of you learn some tactics or think about a build order or just some general gameplay of my own style, and you can incorporate some of this into your own play as well.
SCV ready.
So most of you probably already know I play almost exclusively macro games just because I kind of play the game right now for the goal of improving every game. I'm sure that I don't necessarily do that, but I don't know. I really just don't cheese a lot. So in the TvZ matchup right now, I'm doing almost exclusively Innovations Reaper Hellion build. I do kind of want to learn some other variations or types of TvZ builds, but I still have so much to learn in this build that I just feel comfortable trying to improve this build every day, and I've played so many games with it that I think I have a pretty good grasp of it, so hopefully that shows in this replay. I chose this one specifically because it was a long game, kind of epic ending, and I can kind of cover all the different phases of the TvZ game, so hopefully you guys notice the first thing that I do is make a Reaper 13 gas, so as soon as the barracks starts, I make a Reaper with the very first SCV to come out. I even stop SCV production as that SCV comes out in order to build the gas early. And all that does is gives me a few seconds to get the Reaper out earlier, and according to what I've read on this build, it only makes you lose about 5 seconds of SCV building time, so it's not a lot of economy, but you get an earlier Reaper, which is generally a good thing. So as you can see, like, the whole idea of my Reaper right now is to kind of scout and poke, try to get drones if possible, but not lose the Reapers. So you notice how I start running out once the Queen spawns. Really, that's the most powerful window for the Reaper, is to get drone kills before the Queens pop out. Once the Queens pop out, you have to be very creative or careful about how you use the Reapers without losing them. And what I did scout mainly is that he had gas, he was mining, and he was going for speed. I'm pretty sure I didn't notice that he pulled out of gas. If I did, that would at least tell me there's most likely no all-in coming. He was just getting Zergling speed because it's a main upgrade, and he's just going to be droning from then on out. So as you can see, like on this map, Daedalus, I position my Reapers overall in this area around the ramp. The Queens want to be here larva injecting, and here, so the Queens will never be out here. There's no creep spread. The Zerglings without speed can't get to my Reapers. This was really cool that this guy did. I thought this was pretty smart. He went out to take an early third. I did notice it because I wasn't paying attention, so I tried to deny it. Most of the time I get this drone. I would say 90% of the games I play. But this guy did a really fast extractor trick, and this was so annoying. Watch, I focused this extractor the whole time. He cancels and then remakes it before I can kill it, and the Queen is now in range to hit my Reapers, so there's no way I'm going to get this drone if I want to keep the Reapers alive, which I do. So I just let him cancel and get the hatch. I resupply my Reapers with the Hellions. Almost lost a little there, but so the way I do this, I have my hotkeys on 4 for all unit producing structures. It's a little inconvenient for this reason alone, that I rally my factory to a Reaper, and I rally my barracks just to this bunker that I'm building. So notice it doesn't end up being a 3cc build. Essentially I go 2 Reapers, make the factory and reactor on the barracks, swap them over, but by the time I start building Hellions, I already have 3cc's building, so it's extremely greedy, which is why you have to scout with the Reapers and Hellions. This timing when I get 2 Reapers and a couple of Hellions, I sometimes pull back to my base to make sure I'm safe in my natural, especially on a map like this where you don't have a fast wall off or a complete wall off. Because if he just happened to try to metagame my build and make like 30 speedlings, he would kill all this regardless of my micro, and just go deny my base, and I would be in just an unwinnable position, basically. So right now I've got 5, well I think it was 6, but now 5 Hellions, which I feel much more comfortable about moving around the map. I still don't want to go out on the creep with only 5 Hellions, but I am poking at the queens, because some Zergs will be so greedy they won't make any lings, and they'll just have these queens out here trying to defend this, and the queens do a good job, but with micro pulling the unit back that the queens are attacking and so on, you always can get queens. And even I have had some games where the guys make no lings at all and just expect the queen or wall off to hold, and I simply win the game with just these units. But this guy wasn't quite so dumb, so you can see I didn't get any queens. He got his third up, which is good for him, and I didn't deny tumors as much as I would like, so he's in a pretty decent position. But as you can see right now, I'm up in overall supply, and I've got a equivalent economy, if not better, because of mules. So I ran my units back, probably because I failed my building transition. Yeah, like having 5 barracks right now is not, well, it's pretty much what I want, but as you can see I've got 1,000 minerals, 200 gas, so I'm certainly behind on my spin. And this is why I'm still doing this build. I'm just trying to improve on it and make my spin perfect the whole way. But the good news is this build is extremely greedy as far as upgrades, so I'm ahead of the Zerg in upgrades. I'm already starting my army for 2-2. I've got bio, so the window of vulnerability of my build, which is between Reaper Hellion and Marines coming out, is over. I've got mines coming out. I've got Marines coming out of 3 barracks and soon to be 5 with 4 reactors, so extremely powerful at this point. I can just make 9 Marines at a time. And I'm making a second factory to get 1 more Widow Mine and the upgrade, and well, oh yeah, here's the factory, and then 3 barracks. Sorry for my jumpy observing style, hopefully that's not too annoying for you guys. So now all I'm doing is misclicking my Widow Mine, but I'm making sure I can secure my third. This is very important. I'm actually a little late. I want this to be floating out and established at around 10 minutes, and I should be doing a +1-1 timing right now at 11, but you can see I'm about 60 minutes late. This is what separates me, I would say, from Masters players doing this build, and for sure from someone like Innovation. But as you can see, I made 1 bunker here and a depot wall off, so it's extremely hard for a Zerg to actually make me vacate this third area. I can just run my SCVs to the bunker. So anyway, I'm doing this late creep clear push. That's the whole purpose. There's so few units. All I'm doing is clearing creep. You're not even supposed to have Widow Mines with this, but I don't know. I suck. My macro and transitions weren't good, so I just somehow have a lot of Widow Mines when I do this push. But as you can see, look at that. He was being so greedy. He's just now making the Banelings. They don't have speed, and so there's no way he can hold this without taking some heavy losses. So I spread out, and now, as I see his Banelings are closing in, I've killed a lot of creep, and I basically try to grab only the Marines and load them into these 2 medevacs. This is why you do this push. You should have just enough Marines for the 2 medevacs. In this case, I accidentally loaded Hellions, which is not exactly what you want, but that's okay. So far in the game, you can see I'm up big in supplies simply because I'm maybe out macroing him. He's got more drones, but I've made him make units. I've killed a lot of units. I'm slightly ahead in upgrades. My 2 is a little delayed, but I've done a large creep clear push, and if you go to units lost tab, he's lost 550 more resources than I have, which this is basically how I tell how well I'm doing in the game, or how much I'm outplaying my opponent in TvZ. I think this is probably too much gas for this build since I'm just going biomine, but this is something I have to improve. I have a bad habit of doing this, so in the future I'm gonna try to stay on 5 gas and see if I can afford everything I want, because you can see I'm already at 700 gas. I'm getting all the upgrades I need. Right now I'm not making any units, which is pretty bad. You want like perfect transitions, but anyway. So now I've got a large army. I have a supply lead. I feel pretty good about this game, just based on the amount of units he had during my initial push. But instead of going for a second 2-2 push, like a death push, I decided to drop some medevacs and try to take this watchtower in case he wasn't watching. That allowed me to recognize that he was sending his mutas towards my natural, which is just a really common move, I guess you could say. It's to rally your newly created mutas to the opponent's base somewhere. So I had my units in position, but for whatever reason, I think tried to catch them out here, and he's already in my base. Anyway, I'm dropping in his natural, and I did trade off. Essentially, I picked up the Marines so his banelings would hit my Marauders, and that was enough to kill all the banelings. So I just redrop at this point, knowing I'll trade pretty efficiently. I should pick up right here, but I'm probably not watching. I'm probably over here. And as you can see, wow, I suck at observing, but I killed off like tons of mutas right there because he wasn't watching. I always try to catch the mutas if possible. So yeah, he cleaned up my dropships. He's sending his mutas to get them, but hopefully he doesn't. Hopefully I recognize that, or I'll just lose them. Units lost. You can see this is where he lost all those mutas. 5,000 resources lost to my 2,400. So now I'm doing another push. He sees it with his creep. And this is always a scary situation. I feel like my army is really small, but I do have a decent amount of widow mines. So even though I'm up in supply, this type of army that I'm pushing out with, I expect him to beat me. He did get a lot of my widow mines to fire, which is a mistake on my end. So here I basically stem and pull all my marines back, but I could tell immediately I had too few units. So I just loaded my medevacs, and I tried to split them up a little bit so that his mutas wouldn't get low. And one does get away, but this one will go down. But I kind of knew that was happening anyway. So that was the first big mistake on my end, I think. I had a lot of supply back here. He won that engagement, and as you can see, he's up in supply now. So a lot of Zergs get super greedy when they win a single engagement, and he wanted to win the game. But as you can see, I got my widow mines down in time, and my widow mines fire on the mutas. So now he's just lost his whole army, just in my opinion, from being greedy. But I don't know, he could be afraid of Terran with upgrades or something. So resources loss is still hugely in favor of me. I've got this fort that I'm not establishing yet, but it's at least finished. And I'm dropping his natural again. I think I'm trying to cover too much and not covering my own multitasking, but that's okay. I just want to get as much information out as I can. You can see he's in his army, so I just picked it up. I just killed so many of his mutas that I feel really comfortable now picking up my army a lot and repositioning it. He has to bring his 2 or 3 mutas to get this. So, for whatever reason, I must have been doing something else. I let him kill that. But I do grab this army, and I'm essentially, my whole goal right now is to try to deny this 4th from mining. I think I do a really poor job of this in general in my TvZs. But I know I have 2-2, like Terran's really strong, and I have 3-3 on the way, so I feel really comfortable. I know I have decent macro, especially if you see my money. I must have been maxed out at some point, so now I just try to take the same type of fight, but he goes before I get all the widow mines burrowed, which is really good. A lot of Zergs do that. He even flanks with these two. Watch this one bailey. This dude is so mad. They killed like 15 Marines because I didn't avoid it. So he had a decent trade right there, but I felt okay. Like, I came out with a small army, but all my medevacs are saved. He lost a lot of his units, and you can see I'm just way up in supply, so that was a good fight for me. And look at my bank compared to this guy. I'm just making him make units the entire game, and this is why I feel like TvZ, until they get ultras out or something, if you like that mid-game timing, Terran is so strong if you can just pressure them and constantly trade armies. So my supply is huge. My bank is huge. I'm establishing this, making it a planetary. I'm pushing out to his 4th again. I just kind of wait on this because I know it's about to finish. So again, I'm basically almost maxed out. He's still 2-2. I've got +3 attack, might be +3 armor behind 7. And here he goes again. He just tries to get to me before the widow mines are burrowed. So I stem everything. I didn't do it quickly enough, but I just pulled back the range. It's such easy micro, I think, and I still do that. That was a really good trade for him, better than it should have been, but I still, as you can see, win the engagement. So that's still okay for me just because my bank is huge, even though I let him get way too good hits. He does send his mutas out here. This is so annoying. He remade all his mutas and he sends them to the 4th right before I could get my turrets up. I had like 3 here, and he kills like every SCV here, so that was such a good move by him, but it made me just pull everything back. And you can see mutas are annoying, we all know that. So that was really good by him. I am glad I get to hold this watchtower so long. It's so unusual for Terran. One thing that you'll notice in Biomine, at least for me because I'm bad or whatever, is I get to leave widow mines around the map, and if these Zergs don't go around and clean them up, these guys will get huge kill streaks. Like, it's so ridiculous, and that's why, like, my brother and I always discuss if Biomine, if mines are just broken in TvZ, because I can just burrow them one time for one engagement, And if he ever runs by there and doesn't clean them up, like he loses shitloads of units. So it doesn't even take any skill on my part other than the initial engagement. So that's one like amazing feature. Check this out. I have the watchtower. I see his giant army. Well, his okay army over here, and his meters are coming. So I just set everything up in a spread and burrow my widow mines, just praying he will attack me. I know I will win this engagement, but sadly my own double medevac drop, he pulls everything back, and I did not expect that. I was so disappointed to see that. Anyway, I make him pull all his drones. I get the widow mine burrowed, and watch this. I try to focus the hatchery. The widow mine does fire. I don't know if it that much, and then I reload. So if you didn't see that, it's such a good tactic for Terran, I guess you could say, is attack the hatchery and shift click into your medevacs, and your armory, your army, if it's clumped together, will almost never die if it has good upgrades. It will never die to just lings. You'll get the hatchery because of the sheer amount of DPS that Marines put out, and then you get away with as many Marines as you can. It's like, I do that all the time, it's so good, but you have to be willing to possibly lose those units, and if you see banelings coming, don't do it. Alright, so anyway, I've established a fourth. I again made gas for some bizarre reason. I'm again almost maxed out. At this point I'm thinking like, oh my god, I'm dominating this guy, this game should be over, why is he even still in the game? I'm still dropping, like I just try to never let the Zerg be comfortable, but he reacts pretty quickly this time, so I have to load up, and I didn't do like a ton of damage, which is fine. You can see, alright, check this out. So, well, I was just scouting this base, which is good for me. But I do get to lift off, and his multitasking isn't top notch, so he doesn't pay attention to this. Look at that, he moves his army over here to this one Marine, and I get to drop this main for free. So, this is like the benefit of, in TvZ, I'm always trying to do 2 or 3 things at once. I set up outside this base. I really want to just kill this base. I know I've killed this, it's rebuilding, and I've got this in his main. And as you can see, I'm just target firing this barnacle, so I probably am losing. It wasn't the best, but anyway, I got the pull and I think Spire, so that's worth. But the problem is, I'm trying to set up out here. The thing I think I should have done better is I could have the widow mines in better positions over here, covering this choke, maybe even here. But I should have units hitting this hatchery the whole time. It puts the Zerg on a clock. And look how long he just chills here and makes, like, he just waits to make units. Just because I'm not putting him on this clock, I'm not killing this hatchery. I've got these units so spread out, but I should have Marauders or at least 5 Marines hitting this hatch. And I even allow him to like abuse or exploit my mines because I'm not covering well enough. Now I've scanned, I've seen all these infestors, I'm like, holy shit, what the fuck. And I'm trying to think of how I'm going to deal with his army because infestors are so scary. But as long as it's just Ling Bling infestor, I feel pretty okay. And I've already got a spread. So now I put him on this clock I was talking about, and look, he attacks immediately. No one ever wants to lose their hatch. He A-moves, like he gets a really good fungal there. I didn't have great splitting. And but look at that, I did get the hatchery, and now he'll probably clean this up. The thing is, okay, some ultras popped, that was really good for him. I feel like I think he used way too much energy trying to kill these medevacs. He dropped all those infested Terrans, didn't even get consistent fungals on these, and I basically get away with most of my medevacs. So anyway, I did get the hatch, but I don't know, I guess that was such a quick engagement for me that our supplies are back even, but I have such a huge bank that I'll be maxed in no time at all. The problem is how to deal with these ultralisks. Like, I have this weird habit of only making X amount of barracks with tech labs. Right now I've got 4, and overall, well, hold on, let me talk about that later. These could have been planetaries, and he could like never attack with this ultra army and just ultras and infestors. I think I was way too lazy and greedy with these orbitals, and if I'd made these 2 planetaries, because we know I have the money, he could never break this position. Instead, I made them all orbitals, and I have to like take defensive positions over here, you know, rally up here, try to pick off 1 or 2 ultras if he's not looking, like this. I lose 2 orbitals. You can see I'm losing units even though I am sniping infestors if I can. But overall, if these had been planetaries, I could have just retreated to this area and he never could have broken me. But instead, I kind of give him hope. I make this game way closer than it should have been, and you can see like my supply's dropping quickly. But even though he's in my base, like at this point, this was such a small army of only ultras, I had no fear that I was going to lose this game. like, it's only 2 infestors and a few ultras, and I know I have so much money I can just make marauders all day. So you can see right now I'm even killing marauders, but I do have to kite away. Like you can see, I got greedy trying to get this last ultra, and they will trade if you don't try to make them go up your ramp or some choke. So I do this, and you can see he knows not to go up the choke because it's terrible for ultras. So he just tries to do damage, but really, what is he doing? He's killing a depot, he's killing an extractor, like, I don't even care about that. So now I just stutter step micro, and look, he runs away because I'm just going to kill it. He tries to run his infestors up here. I have these guys rally or shift click to kill the infestors, and they just get destroyed by 1 ultra. So he stopped my mining. I guess you could say like he'd kill this, but this is mined out anyway. I am like kind of trying to micro, but I'm overstimming, which is pretty bad. So anyway, here he is. I don't even care that he kills this, even though I should have lifted that. But now look at his ultra's HP. So now he thinks he's got his money fungal, but I've already killed off like half his army, and look, all he made behind it is lean bling. So he never expects this, but I rallied over here. He will never come up this ramp with a wall. Like, he's so afraid of this choke that he's just trying to contain with this small ass army. So I basically start doing a doom drop, and I remake all of these barracks over here that I lost in my natural, and he never even scouts or denies this. So you can see my money, my minerals now especially, are just shrinking because I'm only mining 1 base now. So that was a good attack for him, but it wasn't. I never felt like he was going to win this game, and I'm rallying over here still. Only problem is I didn't really retake bases as quickly as I could have. I needed to get my economy back up and going. But anyway, there were a lot of mistakes made in this game. That's what makes it a good one to watch. So I do this doom drop. He's like, holy shit, there's no way I can defend this. Here's what I think is so interesting. This must be some kind of... Oh, okay. Check this out. I rallied all my barracks with these over here, and they tried to fucking walk all the way across the map. It's so crappy. You have to like grab them separately and rally each group. So that's something that you should keep in mind. It's so annoying. Anyway, the doom drop killed this hatch, made him pull his drones. Now he's thinking about defending this, but I'm already going to his main. Now he tries to break this position, but look at this. Ultra's attacking a wall. Like, if I can make units behind this wall, it's the worst position ever. And he actually tries to get this. Bungling the SCVs while they repair is really good. In fact, I think he does get this planetary, but he sacks like 1 ultra to do it. So that's really good by him, and look, he lost his infestor. And now check this out, my doom drop is just clearing his main, and it's kind of becoming a base racy type game, but check this out, he has no infestors. I'm behind this wall. These are just fucking dead. Like, that's the worst thing ever. And I mean, I just feel like he threw his ultras away. I knew I was gonna win. He does try to catch my army with the last hope of banelings that he made. I just happen to be watching, so I pull my marines back to make it pretty cost efficient. I try to trade here, I get 2 ultras, and you notice that, just stutter step micro, focus fire, and then load up and get out. So at this point, you can see like our economy is like nil. I have all these orbitals, I should be taking bases, but I'm just trying to like force him out of the game with drop multitasking. I checked this base, and check this out, I never scouted this fucking base. The whole time he's mining here now, and I never scout this for so long. This entire like phase of the game, I'm like, why is this guy still in this game? This is so ridiculous, he's so dead. And I never knew he had this base. So in a way, he kind of had hope, even though he had probably, let's see how much larva. Yeah, 18 larva, so he had hope. He's making infestors and leans. But I don't know, I couldn't understand why he was still in the game, but it's because I never scouted that base. So anyway, he does find me with that ultra, so I had to run away. He makes more infestors. I get 1 for free here. I get this hatchery. He should be attacking me soon. These guys are basically doing nothing but getting healed. Here he comes with his infestor army, so I think he might get some good engagements here. Let's see about the fungals. Okay, that one was pretty good, so he did pretty well. Like, he killed a lot of that army, and now 1 ultra can for sure clean this up, so I have to load up and get out. He misses the fungal on the medevacs. He really wanted that to go. So now I have a giant army, a fleet of medevacs with a few units in it. These guys, I don't know, they're just rallied or something. I finally decide to take another base, so this is the point where I'm for sure going to win when he lets me get this. So he basically has so few units, he's just trying to fight me with fungals. And I finally kill all his infestors. He's rallied out, which is fine with me. I just want to kill hatcheries. And check this out. I use my other drop to kill this Ling to make sure I can take this, and hopefully he doesn't see that. And later he claims that he didn't know I took this base, so I talked to him after this game. So that was pretty nice. I finally back up mining with the power of mules, and I've got this army that he can't kill unless he gets more infestors out, and he's slowly doing that off his one base. So now at this point I think I've killed every hatchery that I know about, so I know he has to have a hidden base, and these are like the only two options. So I think I might have already scanned. Let's check my vision. Nope, I am moving towards there, I think. I'm just killing bases, obviously, that's the whole point of the game. No, wow, this is so dumb. I actually killed these extractors first, instead of thinking about this base. It's so sad how long I let this go. So anyway, I'm still mining. I have, let's see, what, 2 command centers? Yeah, 2 command centers with mules. I'm kind of surprised I wasn't making SCVs, but I guess I just knew this game was over if I just make units. So I think that's fine. You can see my supplies way up. Here's his last ditch army. All I have to do is micro back, try to avoid a huge fungal. And now that I've killed everything except the ultras, well, I could kite, but for whatever reason I try to load. I know I have more units on the way. I think that's why I loaded. And now I just unload everything, get my whole army together, and try to hit the space. And look at that, he lost his spawning pool, so he's trying to remake it, but he literally has these 3 ultras to defend. I'm just grabbing all the units I have, muling when I can for economy. And this should be the end. I scanned his 3 ultras. I know I'm going to have to stop micro, but off creep, this should be no big deal. Even though I suck at it. And there we go. All I'm doing is grabbing the bio only so the medevacs keep healing, and I stand and stop micro. So obviously you see ultra suck without support. And he does get these things out. It's pretty nice. Gives him a second, but now it's gone. I come to his base, and I guess you could say balanced wine begins as he dies. I get a lot of these arts that just make me play the entire game out for no reason. And right as I'm gonna kill his last building, freaking mules, huh? And he leaves. Good times. So that's my replay. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Maybe you learned something. I wanted to talk more about my army control, positioning, stylistic things, but I think I got a little carried away just talking about everything I see. So hopefully I'll get better at this. But hopefully you guys got something out of this, and let me know if you enjoyed it. Thanks a lot. Have a good one.